What's up, Tanner J-Man Show Nation? This is Tanner Lee, one half of the Tanner J-Man Show, and on behalf of myself and my co-host Josh the J-Man Munt, we appreciate you listening to our podcast. If you're a new listener to our podcast, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts at. If that happens to be on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and review, as that helps us out a bunch. Watch our podcast live every Monday night from 6:30 to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on the ISC Sports Network. And make sure to give us a like on Facebook and a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Tan and J-Man Show. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy some hot takes, topics, picks, and more on a brand new episode of the Tan and J-Man Show. Hey, it's Tanner Lee and Josh the J-Man Munt, and you're listening to another brand new episode of the Tan and J-Man Show, episode 279 to be exact. What's going on, J-Man?
Nothing much. It's a gorgeous day here. I don't know what the temp is there, but it's about 75. And
right now, my computer's saying 64, but it's been in around 70 all day, so it's still gorgeous.
If I could just bottle this temp up and keep it for the entire year, I'd be a happy man.
I'm right there with you. I think the rest of the week here, it's not supposed to be that great. I think it's supposed to get rainy and take a dip temperature-wise.
Yep, welcome to spring.
Yeah, I was going to say it's springtime now. We're in the second official day of spring. So it feels good, you know. Flowers will be coming out. The Masters will be on here in a couple weeks. We got March Madness going on.
Yeah, baseball's
right around the corner.
Yeah.
The spring training's underway.
Warmer temps.
Yep.
Excited.
Good stuff.
I have some Birdie Bogey for you here. I'm
all right.
debating between two questions. One's pretty hard in my opinion. So if you can't get that right at the end of the show, I'll give you the other one real quick.
Well, I was just going to ask are they different categories or different subjects?
One's NCAA tournament. The other's just college sports as a whole. So the one I'm going to give you is Tom Izzo is one of only two head coaches to beat Mike Krzyzewski twice in the NCAA tournament. Can you name the other guy?
Ooh, that's a good one.
So this fella, I'll even give you a hint. This fella is no longer a head coach.
Okay.
So, what segment was this? It's Monday. Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC for fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Mentone, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. Get your veggies.
Get your veggies. Get your merchandise from their shop. They got T-shirts, hats, backpacks, a little bit of everything. So get online and check it out.
I'm actually going to check out their Facebook real quick here and see if they've put anything up recently. I'm not sure because I know farmers market season is going to be happening here in the next few months.
Yes,
it's actually National Ag Week today, and tomorrow, March 22nd, 2020, is National Ag Day, and they will be celebrating all week long. And look forward to sharing some fun farm facts with you.
So pretty much what you're saying is make sure to follow Noble Gnome on Facebook. That's what I'm hearing.
Follow Noble Gnome on Facebook. Follow them on Instagram and get some merch.
Get some merch.
Get some merch.
What are we starting off with tonight, J-Man?
It's the ball is in your court. I do not care.
Well, let's. I'm doing some posting on socials for us right now. So let's start. I mean, a majority of our episode tonight's going to be March Madness, but let's go ahead and talk some NFL real quick to kick things off. How about that?
We continue to see quarterback carousel here. I mean, since our last show, Deshaun Watson has been traded to the Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Ryan has been traded today to the Indianapolis Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Have we seen any other? I can't think of anything else that's happened in the past week.
Well, Jameis Winston re-signed with New Orleans
Did
Saints
he?
today.
Okay.
2-year deal. And Marcus Mariota signed with Atlanta Falcons today.
I saw the Falcons were really interested in bringing Mariota in. So
that was very quick.
Very quick, yeah. I was reading a little bit, and I guess the Matt Ryan talks started last night about 4 or 5 o'clock. And it's just progressed throughout, and Colts only had to give up a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah. So. At first I was like, but the more I thought about it, I think it's the best they could do at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much out there. I mean, they could have went a younger route with Baker Mayfield, but I think Baker's a lot like Carson Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy G, you would have been giving up a lot, and with the shoulder surgery, I think that's a concern.
Yep.
So Matt Ryan, I mean, you are getting a guy. His best days are behind him, I would say. He turns 37 in May. But I guess this gives them a year or two before they try to find their future face of the franchise.
Yeah, and it's becoming increasingly evident here in the NFL. And I think it really started when Mahomes entered the league. They're like, we need a quarterback that can beat that guy, beat these elite guys. And teams are not afraid to go out there and trade 3 first-round picks for an elite quarterback like the Denver Broncos did, just because you cannot compete in the NFL without a star quarterback anymore. With I mean, it might have actually started just watching Josh Allen versus Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. I think a lot of teams are sitting there like, we can't compete with this right now, so we're going to have to go out and make some moves, and we've seen that. Now, does a Matt Ryan move the needle a whole lot for the Colts? Probably not. You said it earlier today in our group chat that you thought he was a better than Phillip Rivers when they got him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's better than Phillip Rivers. I think he's even a little upgrade from Carson Wentz, to be honest. Yeah, but once again, just go back, 37 years old. I mean, if this works well, it's a nice bridge to finding your future quarterback. But if not, you're just putting a Band-Aid over a wound that's not going to heal. Right. I mean, I saw Denver do that the past 6 years, and it just, I don't know. You keep repeating the same thing, expecting different results, and it doesn't happen.
And it's a Band-Aid just to get to the playoffs. It's not even a Band-Aid to win a Super
100%.
Bowl. Because I don't think Matt Ryan can win a Super Bowl at this stage of his career. Now they have a fantastic running game, solid defense, but still, as I said, you need an elite quarterback. I don't think we'll see a team like, say, even the 2015, 2016 Denver Broncos, where their quarterback play was not very good, but their defense just carried them. I don't think we'll see that anymore. I mean, you
probably not for a while. Yeah. It seems like the NFL goes in waves. I mean, because even when the Broncos won, the 2 years before that, the Legion of Boom, Seattle. Before that, Baltimore had a run. Tampa Bay had a run with defense. So we might see a wave eventually, but you're right. Right now, it's quarterback. You got to go big or go home.
Yeah, Bears got there in 2006 or whenever that was as well.
Yes.
With a defensive-oriented team. But right now, you need an elite quarterback, and man, the AFC is stacked with them right now.
Yeah, the AFC is ridiculous. And look over the NFC, it's like Brady, Rodgers, Dak,
yeah. I mean,
then what?
Matt Stafford, Kyler.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Still.
Okay. Yeah. But it's just the AFC. You can go on and on and on right now.
Except they're in Miami and New York and
Miami. Tua might still come around this. I mean, let's see what he can do with a new offense and a new coach.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I just will never forget watching that Chiefs-Bills divisional round game this year and thinking, Dolphins have no shot. They have zero shot right now. So.
And it's been a crazy free agency, and I know I'm an AFC West homer, even though I hate the other 3 teams outside Denver, but the AFC West might potentially has potential to be maybe the best division in NFL history.
Ever.
I mean, the players that are getting traded and picked up, it's unbelievable. It's like every day one of the teams grabs somebody.
We didn't even mention Devontae Adams being traded to the Vegas Raiders, which I thought was pretty telling of Aaron Rodgers, that Devontae, or the Packers, are willing to pay Devontae as much, if not more, than what the Raiders were willing to do. And he preferred to go there and leave Aaron Rodgers, which you don't see that kind of stuff. So I think the whole Rodgers fiasco, not even fiasco, but the Rodgers drama was kind of getting old. I know it's getting old for us, and I'm sure it's getting pretty old for Packer fans as well, but it's starting to get pretty old for his teammates, it sounds like.
Yeah, Devontae wanted to go and play with his old college quarterback and Derek Carr. So, it's just I mean the Chargers have boosted up their defense. Of course, the Broncos got a new quarterback and got a nice defensive piece in Randy Gregory if he can stay out of trouble. And then the Chiefs, I mean, they didn't do much, but they got Juju Smith-Schuster. That's still a nice piece to an already loaded offense.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just wild.
Chiefs are in a position where they have to look and like, where do we even upgrade at this
Right.
point? I know they need defense, and I'm sure here within the next year or two they're going to be in absolute cap hell.
Oh yeah, they're going to be like Seattle was with their defense.
Exactly.
They're not going to be able to keep everybody, so their window of this whole core might be closing a little bit. But
that it's kind of a cycle because I think the Rams are going to get there eventually too with their lack of first round picks, and all of that. So.
And speaking of the Rams, and I look around this room and I see a couple pictures of this guy, so I have to bring up him. How about Von Miller getting paid? My goodness.
Paid at what, 32 years old?
32-ish, yeah, maybe 33. I think he's 32. Yeah. But I mean, I'm happy for the guy, but my goodness.
Wasn't expecting, what was it, like 135 million or something like that?
Yeah, and a lot of that's guaranteed. 6 years.
That's crazy.
6 years.
6 years for a football player.
He won't play 6 years, I don't think.
Which he was good with the Rams down the stretch.
Yeah, he was. I mean, the Bills, man, the Bills are all in, as they should be.
Yeah, they have to be. They have that quarterback there now, and now's the time to try to win a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Which sucks for me, but is what it is.
Well, let's go back to Deshaun Watson. I mean, Adam Schefter reported today, it was an update on the trade details exactly. And let me pull this up here so I'm not getting any incorrect information, because the trade details are even more picks than we all thought. The Browns are now giving up 6 draft picks.
Man.
So that includes their round 1, 2022, round 4, 2022, round 1, 2023, round 3, 2023, round 1, 2024, round 4, 2024. So Cleveland gets in return Deshaun Watson in round 6, 2024.
Yeah, so they went all in as well and gave him the biggest guaranteed money contract ever.
$250 million for 4 years.
It was all guaranteed, correct?
Yep, all guaranteed.
Which I've never seen that in the NFL. I'm sure Rodgers probably got it all guaranteed. But yeah, they're going all in for a guy that hasn't played football in 2 years.
Right.
And is awfully lucky he's not in prison right now.
Right. I'm one of my bold predictions for 2022. I didn't think he'd play it down in the NFL this year. All this, him coming out and getting cleared, it all came about a lot quicker than I ever thought it would. And the Browns, it was interesting because we all thought the Browns were kind of out of the mix. That was the report last week. It was going to be Atlanta or New Orleans, and then the Browns got right back in the mix. Mm-hmm. Now they got to ship their old quarterback, Baker Mayfield, somewhere. My question to you is, where's that going to be?
That's a great question because I haven't heard really his name anywhere besides Indianapolis. And that's his preferred destination. He might have to be a backup next year for somebody.
That's incredible.
It is incredible. I mean, he led him to the playoffs just 2 years ago, and his star has really started to dim here the past 18 months or so. Maybe not even 18 months, maybe just 12 months, which is crazy. I mean, that's just the way the NFL is kind of working. You got to be elite or you're not going to have a job there at the quarterback spot. Looking at rosters, though, I mean, Atlanta's got their guy. Carolina's still searching for a quarterback.
Yeah. Seattle, I think, will draft somebody. I mean, he could go there, but I think they'll draft somebody. And then, honestly, I know it sounds crazy. I think their week 1 starter will be Drew Lock, even if they draft somebody. And then he'll probably get replaced by that rookie. I don't know. Maybe one of the New York teams takes a flyer on Baker.
I can't imagine the Jets would to be their starter anyway. Giants absolutely could, but it sounds like Brian Daboll loves Daniel Jones.
Right.
So and that could just be a new coach coming in. He's trying to, praise his young quarterback and tell everyone he believes in him, and who knows what he actually feels. Mm-hmm. But you look at quarterback needy teams. Pittsburgh Steelers signed Mitch Trubisky. Jacksonville has Trevor Lawrence still. Houston needs a quarterback, maybe. They do like Davis Mills, which he had a good end of the year. Mm-hmm. He was much better than Tyrod Taylor.
How about Detroit? Would you take him over Goff?
They're the same.
Yeah, they're pretty similar. Opinion. Both number 1 picks too.
Both number 1 picks. I think Baker, has a higher ceiling for sure.
Yeah.
And probably a higher floor than Jared Goff at this point, but I don't think he's going to turn the Detroit Lions from a 2-15 team into anything more than a 7-10.
Right.
Even then, it's probably a stretch. So I can't imagine which it's a really quite frankly, a terrible quarterback class too, draft class. And I don't know how it's looking next year.
I don't know either.
But it's a bad year to need a quarterback in the draft for sure.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's wild. All of a sudden, Baker, like you said, he might have to be a backup somewhere.
Yeah, which I think that's trending that way for Jimmy Garoppolo as well. Which of course he has the shoulder issue, which I think is playing a pretty big role in the fact that he hasn't been traded for or anything like that right now. But
if he was a cheaper contract, maybe San Francisco keeps him around to be a backup in case Trey Lance is not what they think he's going to be.
Right, and that's the thing. Lance is such a wild card. We don't know what he's going to be, but it is definitely time for the 49ers to find out.
You have to.
For sure. They absolutely have to spend and trade it up for him. Number 3 overall pick, I believe.
Yep.
You can't have him sit for another year in today's NFL. So,
right.
I can't even imagine Jimmy Garoppolo playing anywhere else besides San Francisco, but it's not going to start there.
Nope. Yeah, it's interesting. I've never seen this much quarterback movement ever in an offseason. Not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
We heard all sorts of rumors last year that it was going to happen last year, just a year too early.
Yep. It's been fun to watch, fun to keep track
Absolutely.
of, but it's been great from a podcast standpoint because we have a ton to talk about, but also it's almost old news when we get coming back around to Monday because it happened a week ago.
The NFL does not have an off season.
Nope.
Doesn't have an off season.
Nope.
Pretty evident.
Yeah, but we got the draft coming up, which I still got to get a mock draft or two out. I'm really behind and procrastinating on that, but I'll get something out. So,
what day is that draft? I know it's a Thursday.
Is it in April again? Late April this year?
Got to be in April.
I thought they moved
April 28th through the 30th. So,
all right,
like a month from next Monday is.
Yeah, if I release one here in the next couple of weeks, and then my final one the week of the draft, I think that'll cover it. I won't do 3 this year, but I can do 2. So,
yes, sir.
Yep. Any other NFL news you're thinking about?
Can't think of any other NFL news. Yeah, I don't. I think we covered pretty much everything.
Me neither. Well, you want to get educated real quick?
Let's hear it. Actually, you know what? I have on this day pulled up as well.
All right.
So I think I'll.
Well, don't quiz me because I've already looked at it. So don't do any quizzing. Well, but you can go over and get my thoughts on things. Just don't ask me any quizzes because I could have just played it off dumb, but you would have been like, okay, how does he know that? So
on this day in 1902, who won the 64th Grand National?
Okay, I didn't look up that.
I don't even know what the Grand National is.
I don't either.
Wins by 3 lengths from Matthew. No idea what that phrase even means. On this day in 1946, Kenny Washington signed with the Rams. He was the first African-American NFLer since 1933.
Yeah. Yep.
On this day in 1953, an NBA record 106 fouls were called. 12 players fouled out.
That would have been a long game to be at.
Yeah, I think Purdue shot about his 106 free throws last night.
Hey, when Texas goes just one-on-one with the big guys and they decide to shoot they decide to shoot 33s instead of driving, then happens.
1954, the Brooklyn Bulletin asked Dodger fans not to call their team bums.
What would they tell you nowadays on Twitter?
I can't say anything on the FCC might can us.
Yeah.
On this day,
bums is nothing compared to what comes out of most fans' mouth now.
1959 was the 21st NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Cal beat West Virginia. West Virginia future Hall of Fame point guard Jared West is named MOP in a losing effort.
The logo.
Couldn't win the big one, though, even in college.
Have you seen any of that?
I
have not watched it yet, but I've heard great things about it.
It is so freaking good. Winning Time on HBO Max. Yep. It is so good. I can't wait to watch the 3rd episode. Probably today.
I need to check it out. Yeah.
It is so good. The guy playing Jerry West is hilarious too.
I've heard good stuff. So.
Yeah, it does not portray Jerry West in a.
That's what I heard. I heard he's got looks kind of bad.
Got a temper. Wanted to play Magic Johnson at the 4. did not want Jerry Buss to draft Magic Johnson for one, because he said he was too tall. 6'9" point guard. He's going to get the ball stolen every single time down. But yeah, it's fantastic. I highly recommend it. On this day in 1964, UCLA beat Duke in the NCAA men's basketball championship. Bruins' first title.
First of many.
First of many. They had an undefeated season, 30-0. On this day in 1970, UCLA beat Jacksonville in the men's basketball championship. Fourth straight title under John Wooden.
How many straight did they win? I know it was at least 6. Did they win 8?
I don't know.
Or am I making that up? I know it was at least 6.
I have no idea, but that's John Wooden could coach basketball.
Man.
On this day in 1984, the NFL owners passed the infamous anti-celebrating rule. Seems like the NFL repassed that a few years ago, but luckily we're able to watch them celebrate again.
Right. The no fun league.
Yep. The Pittsburgh Associates buy the Pittsburgh Pirates for $218 million in 1986. If they're still owner, which I have no idea, I doubt they are, and maybe they could almost quadruple their investment here in today's world.
And they got to be one of the least.
They're going to be trash.
Oh yeah, I was going to say that. I don't even know what to say about them, to be honest.
Them and the Cincinnati Reds are going to be garbage. That's the only thing the Cubs have going for them right now. They're not the Reds or Pirates. 1994, Wayne Gretzky tied Gordie Howe's NHL record of 801 goals.
We talk about him quite a bit on the Honest Day segment, but he has the nickname the Great One for a reason.
Him and Teddy Williams seems like they're on here about all the time.
Mike Tyson's on here for the wrong reasons.
For the wrong reasons, yeah. It's rarely for his boxing feats.
Yeah.
Last one here, 2019, Japanese baseball right fielder Ichiro Suzuki finishes his career with a record 4,367 base hits combined between the NPB and the MLB as the Mariners beat the Oakland A's 5-4 in Tokyo. I forgot he came back for like a game and then retired when they. So that was pretty cool to do that in Japan. Yeah, that dude.
He was so fun to watch.
That dude could hit.
I mean, you remember when he first came to America? Like he became like a pop culture icon for a little bit because he just took the league by storm.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when he was coming over, like I was only like 9 years old, but I just remember like, oh my gosh, Ichiro's coming to America. Yeah. He's the greatest baseball player ever.
And he put some spark in the Mariners franchise that needed at the time and haven't done anything since.
No, I haven't. Literally, not since his rookie year have they made the postseason.
Well, they need to this year for my bold prediction. So,
I think they have a shot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've been close on numerous occasions.
They were down to, I think, the final game last year in the playoff race, but I forget who ended up winning. And in the mayor, I don't remember, but they were really close last year. So I think a lot of people are picking them to be pretty good again. But
we will see.
Speaking of some baseball, you want to talk some baseball here real quick before we
let me do the On This Day read real quick. The On This Day segment is brought to you by, like it is every week, Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated custom woodcraft shop based out of North Carolina with Indiana grassroots. Mooney Woodcrafts provides 100% hand-cut custom designs that fit your needs. From signs to growth charts, their custom pieces make a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. To see some of their recently completed projects, visit @Mooney Woodcrafts on Instagram or on their Facebook page. And for custom orders, contact them at mooneywoodcrafts@gmail.com.
Sir, baseball is happening in the spring training. Anyway, we actually get a baseball season. We talked about that last week, but spring training is underway, and the off season hit like a flurry.
Yeah, it
did. A fury, I should say.
Yeah, it did.
Once they opened everything up, we have Carlos Correa signing with the Minnesota Twins. It felt like out of nowhere. Just a 3-year deal worth $105 million. But he has two opt-out, or he has two player options, so it's essentially a 1-year deal.
Right.
He'll be back in the market again. Cubs made their biggest signing probably, since Marcus Stroman, I guess, but signing Seiya Suzuki. outfielder, right fielder from Japan, 5-year, $85 million deal. He's absolutely torn the cover off the ball in Japan the past few years. So they're expecting him to come in and hit in that like 3 or 4 hole right away. He walks a bunch, doesn't strike out a whole lot, has a ton of power. So we'll see how it translates to American baseball, which we've seen some guys struggle. I mean, I remember when Hideki Matsui came over, they were talking about him hitting 60 homers right away. I think he hit like 16 or 20 his first year. Then he kind of got into a little bit of a groove and kind of caught up to Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
But
World Series MVP in 2009.
Yeah.
So the Suzuki guy, is he going to be better than Kosuke Fukudome?
He put up better numbers in Japan, and the good thing is he's younger too. He's about 6 years younger than Kosuke was when he came over, or something like that. Maybe not 6 years, but he's a right-handed hitting outfielder. Kosuke, I think he came in about 6 or 7 years too late, because I think his game would really have been appreciated here the past 5 or 6 years with how much he got on base, his ability to make contact. Which is at a premium right now, where back then guys were still hitting 50 homers, and all that, and they're expecting that, and they cared more about batting average than they did on base percentage. So I think he would have really been appreciated in today's game, more so than back in 2008 when he came in. Don't know much about Suzuki other than I just looked at his stats in Japan. That's about all I got on him.
I bet he won't move the jersey sales like Fukudome did.
No, that jersey that jersey sold
did.
quick for many reasons.
Yes.
But probably not. Trying to think of other stuff. Cubs have signed so many pitchers here. They signed Drew Smiley. They signed a bunch of relievers, which they need a bunch of depth. Trevor Story signs with the Boston Red Sox there.
6 year, I think $140 million deal. It sounded like Colorado was willing to pay him more, but can't blame the guy. He wanted to go win. And Boston gives you a lot better opportunity to win than Colorado.
Sounds like he's going to play second base a lot for him, too, with Xander Bogaerts there at short. Speaking of the Rockies, I have no idea what they're doing. Good for Chris Bryant, because they signed Chris Bryant to a 6 year or something. I don't remember if it was
6 year deal.
182, I believe, $1 million deal. So
2 or 7, something like that. It's a big deal. I mean, I have a dumb stance on this. I think the Rockies were so desperate just to get a big name for promotional items, marketing, jersey sales, get people in the ballpark, which they already don't need because they could win like 10 games and people will go there just because it's a nice ballpark and something to do in Denver. But I think that's the reason they did it. But I knew they were in on him from the beginning, but I never thought there was any serious way that Chris Bryant was going to sign with the Rockies.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what Bryant's market was. You always heard the Mariners too. Mariners and Rockies were kind of the two that
I heard the Mets a lot.
Mets too. Yeah. Good for him. But as far as the Rockies, I think you probably hit the nail on the head though. I didn't even think about that because I don't see any possible way the Rockies can compete this year. I think Chris Bryant will put up huge numbers in Colorado though. Sure. I think he'll hit a ton of homers and he'll hit a ton of
left field.
That outfield is so massive. He hits so many balls to the outfield that the thing people don't talk about with Coors Field there is how many balls that are usually caught drop in for singles because guys are having to play so deep. So I think Bryant's going to put up huge numbers out there. But you look at the rest of the team with Story leaving. It's probably going to be rough there for a while.
They gave Ryan McMahon today a 6 year, $70 million contract extension.
Really? He's a pretty good third baseman.
But that's why I think, Bryant's going to play left. Those are your two guys because your other marketable guy, Charlie Blackmon, he's 36 and he's just falling apart. So
he hasn't hit a whole lot the past few seasons.
So I don't know. That's my take on it. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird signing when I saw it. Just like Rockies, really? Huh.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's closer to Vegas. I don't know. You still have to probably hop on a plane to get to Vegas. But.
He said in his press conference, Colorado's a place he's always liked playing. Well, of course, as a hitter, why wouldn't you?
Hitter, yeah.
And he thought he was going to be drafted by the Rockies when he got drafted. So.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, because Cubs picked right before the Rockies, and a lot of people thought the Cubs were going to take John Gray. And they surprised by taking Chris Bryant. So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you've been to the ballpark. I've never been there, but they say it's gorgeous.
Yeah, very nice. It'll be weird seeing him wear 23 instead of 17, but can't wear 17 because it's Todd Helton. So
did he wear 23 with the Giants? I don't remember what number he wore.
I don't think it was 17, but it might have been 23. I didn't pay close enough attention when he's on the Giants. But and then one of your other old boys, Anthony Rizzo, re-signed with the Yankees 2-year deal, but just like Correa, it's a player option, so it's pretty much a 1-year deal. Because if he mashes this year, he can come on the market and get more money.
Jump out. In hindsight, I bet he wishes he would have taken the Cubs offer last spring when they offered him $75 million.
Right.
He should have done it. They thought the Cubs he thought the Cubs lowballed them, which looking back, they didn't.
Right.
But yeah, I heard rumors that Cubs were going to try to sign him out, just like rip the Band-Aid off. There's no reason to do that again because you're going to suck this year. You're going to trade him anyway. You're going to go through that again. Glad he's back with the Yankees. Speaking of another guy that Yankees were rumored to be interested in, Freddie Freeman signs with the LA Dodgers, and they put together maybe the greatest lineup we've seen since the 27 Yankees.
The rich get richer, Josh. Yeah. I'm so tired of them.
Which is what's so asinine why the Cubs couldn't spend money the past couple of years when the Dodgers every year, Mookie Betts,
they find a way.
They find a way to fit it. Money. Freddie Freeman now, Cody Bellinger, all these guys. The rich get richer, absolutely. And he's from Orange County. Went to I don't remember what high school he went to, but he's from Orange, California. So he's back home. And it's kind of interesting. The Braves traded for Oakland A's first baseman Matt Olson, who's from Atlanta, and Matt Olson put up huge numbers out in Oakland and one of the best defensive first basemen in the NFL. Oh man, in the MLB. So pretty fair trade off, I would say.
Matt Olson got paid too, 8-year deal. They restructured it to an 8-year deal. So
he got absolutely paid.
And Kyle Schwarber. Another NL East deal, 4-year, I think $79 million.
70. Yeah, I think it is $79 million. Yeah, good for him. He said his wife gave birth just a few hours after he signed the deal. So
wow.
It was a pretty good day for him. Really happy to see him get paid too. He had a really good year with the Nationals, and then he got hurt for a little while, but then bounced back with Boston after he was traded. All those guys got paid pretty good. Javi Baez, we talked about this a couple months ago, but he gets paid $160 million, I think, with the Tigers. So all those guys that the Cubs definitely could not have afforded, all of them, definitely.
So the last thing, and the reason I wanted to bring up all those former faces of the franchise for the Cubs, and the last thing I kind of wanted to talk about before we move on to March Madness was, for Cub fans, who's going to be the face of the franchise? At least for this year, I guess, or the face of the season. I guess
it almost makes me gag every single time I see it, because it's
the guy whoever was doing this last night on their
the guy is
a little dance.
I'll give the Cubs credit. They chose the most handsome guy on the roster, which that's what you got to do. Patrick Wisdom, the dude's a 31-year-old career minor leaguer. That's the guy that's kind of been the face here. In spring training, it should be Marcus Stroman. They should be promoting him as much as possible. Maybe Suzuki turns into that guy.
I guess you can throw Hendricks in there for some nostalgia.
Hendricks is such a boring guy. Though. He's not very marketable. Which Stroman is super marketable. Which I watched his debut in spring, and he looked fantastic in 2 innings on Saturday. But he's a guy offensively, though, they don't really have a guy where you're like, man, that guy is a star. I mean, Javi Baez was so easy to market. People loved Javi. Flashy, hit homers, played fantastic defense at short, super easy to market. They don't have a guy now. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Offensively anyway. Stroman, absolutely. I think he's he could be their face, but how often are pitchers the face of the franchise for whatever reason? It doesn't happen very often.
No, unless they're just absolute ace or even more rare, a dominant closer.
Yeah, that doesn't happen.
No,
very often. So yeah,
nope.
All right, March Madness. Yes, my dog goes nuts.
March Madness. We are ready for the Sweet 16. But what an exciting first 2 rounds. I don't recall the last time the tournaments had this many good close games through 2 rounds.
Yes, so many close. Some of the games I wouldn't even call good. They were just close, like the Illinois Chattanooga game. That was a terrible game.
Yeah, Wisconsin, Iowa State yesterday.
Wisconsin, Iowa State was terrible. That was close. But I mean, we've seen upsets with St. Peter's 15 seed knocking off number 2 Kentucky and then knocking off Murray State, who Murray State's coach just became the head coach at LSU today.
Yep.
But yeah, we've seen so many great games. That Michigan State Duke game yesterday was great. I'm trying to think. Round 1, New Mexico State knocking off UConn. That was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
There've been so many. It rarely disappoints, but it definitely did not disappoint this year.
Well, how about the first 4? Notre Dame Rutgers goes into double overtime.
Yeah, and then Notre Dame had a layup with about half second left or so.
Yep, that was a good one. Looking here, Davidson, Michigan State wasn't too bad on round 1.
It was. Yeah, Davidson kind of choked. They were up about 5, I think. 6 minutes left.
Looking here, I mean Michigan. I know we'll talk about them. They were down double digits. Colorado State and came back and won by double digits.
Yuck.
Let's see here. Creighton, San Diego State was a good one.
That was great. Creighton was down 9 with about 3.5 minutes left. Came back, forced overtime, and then won, and then really gave Kansas all they could handle yesterday. They had the ball down 1 with about 40-some seconds left and turned it over. A live ball turnover guy had a layup for Kansas. That was Saturday, I think.
UCLA found a way to claw and dig and beat Fighting John Grosses of Akron.
Classic John Gross team. Up with about 1.5 minutes left, 2 minutes left. I think they were up 4 with like 2 minutes left.
I fell asleep during the game, so
I don't think they scored another point, which I've came to expect that when he was at Illinois. I felt bad for him. I was rooting for him. I thought, John Gross is a super likable guy. I've always rooted for him, even after he got fired. But I think it's getting close to getting another chance at Power 5 or Power 6, we call it.
Well, let's go kind of region by region real quick. I mean, the West coming out right now in Sweet 16 left, we have Gonzaga.
Which they had to come back from, I think, 12 down or so against Memphis.
Yep. Yep. And they didn't even play well for 25 minutes of that game against Georgia State.
No, they didn't.
So I got Gonzaga against Arkansas. Arkansas beat Vermont, which a lot of people have Vermont beating them, and then beat New Mexico State. Mm-hmm. And then Texas Tech and Duke on the bottom. What any other surprises there out of this region, and what do you think is going to happen in Sweet 16?
Top 4 seeds are advanced, right? Those are the top 4.
Yep, you're right.
Well, I wouldn't say any's a real surprise. Trying to think who Texas Tech beat Notre Dame yesterday.
It was a good game. That
was a really good game.
Notre Dame went cold the last 3 minutes.
Yep. Which Notre Dame played really well against Arkansas.
Beat Alabama.
Beat Alabama. I would say not Arkansas. Beat Alabama. I would say, no surprise left.
No, I mean I think it's going to be 2 pretty good games. I think Gonzaga's definitely got the toughest road to get to the Final 4 left of the 1 seeds.
Yeah, which is crazy because we were talking them as having the easiest route.
Yeah.
Just last Monday.
But and I mean and we were talking about that even if it went chalk, but like it has, but just with the way they've played and the way some of these other teams have played, I think it's in how some of the other regions have been more broken. I think they got the toughest route. But I think they'll beat Arkansas. I think Duke beats Texas Tech, and then I think Mark Few and the Zags end Coach K's career.
I completely agree. I think that's how I had it anyway.
That's how I had it too
on my actual bracket. So yeah.
Over in or down, the East bracket. This has been a bracket of chaos, and I'm all for it. It's Purdue's the highest remaining seed.
Purdue they've been so unlucky this year with banked in threes and losing on half court shots. It's turned around now that you get to play a 15 seed in the Sweet 16.
Yes.
Completely turned around.
And am I very nervous? Yes, I am.
Absolutely.
Because the whole country's got to be for them, and it's only a 2-hour drive for them to to the Philadelphia,
Man.
but sign me up. I mean,
oh yeah,
it's like been the bracket of chaos. You've had North Carolina beat Baylor, which I had that in my bracket. Now Carolina tried their best to lose a 25-point lead and lose that game.
With 9 minutes left, wasn't it?
Oh, it was hard to watch.
Yeah.
And then UCLA, who, I mean, now they're finally healthy. They're playing like they probably should have been all year.
Yeah, they played really well against St. Mary's.
And then, of course, St. Peter's is the upset king, knocking off Kentucky and Murray State. And Murray State won in overtime over San Francisco to get to the second round.
That was maybe my favorite game I watched.
Was a good
round one. That was fantastic.
I wish they wouldn't have paired those two together, even though we got a great game, because I don't like when they do that. I don't like when they pair the two mid-majors against each other. But usually it's a pretty good game when they do.
Yeah, it was kind of unfair to both. The committee likes to do that, but I thought both teams deserved to play somebody else. Because, I mean, then one of those teams is going to be done. Like, there's no chance for a Cinderella for one of them. Which kind of sucks. So,
right.
Yeah, for some reason, the NCAA likes to do that.
But and then Purdue so far to get to the Sweet 16, which I didn't realize it's their fourth Sweet 16 in the last 5 NCAA tournaments that have been held. And Matt Painter now has more Sweet 16 appearances with 6 than Gene Cady did. Gene Cady had 5. So that says something in 17 years there. But Purdue's kind of exercised some of their demons so far just to get to Sweet 16. They beat I guess you can call them Yale mid-major, beat a team that, mid-major, which Purdue's found themselves knocked out in the past by like Arkansas, Little Rock, and North Texas. And speaking of Little Rock, they faced Chris Beard in the second round, who's been their nemesis, beating them not only at Little Rock, but also at Texas Tech. Finally got past him. So now they got another mid-major. It's kind of like they're having to go through their demons to get to where they possibly want to go for the first time in 42 years.
Yeah, that's interesting. You brought that up. I was thinking about that last night when you guys beat Chris Beard. You finally knocked him off because he's in their season 2 of the last 5 years, really 2 out of the last 6 years.
Yep.
So that's interesting you say that.
And Chris Beard's teams are always scary to go against. Their guards are so
They're
physical.
Usually good. Yeah.
That's when I knew going into the game, I'm like, okay, Purdue's going to shoot a lot of free throws. Did I guess it was going to be 50? No, but I knew they'd shoot a lot because their guards are physical. And then the way when it gets them, they kind of took the same strategy Michigan State did when Purdue played up at Michigan State. They tried to eliminate the threes and go one-on-one with post guys. Well, Edey and Williams got hit every time, and the refs called it every single time.
Which they didn't in Big Ten play.
100%. I mean, Purdue averaged, I think, 20 free throws a game in Big Ten. Now they are averaging –
That's a lot, too.
Oh, it is. They're averaging 40 through 2 games.
That's crazy.
So, and luckily they're knocking down about 71%.
When you shoot 40 free throws, knocking down 70% is okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but I mean, Purdue still made it tight last night. They got up big at one point in the first half. Texas came storming back, which it's going to happen. It's NCAA tournament, game and runs. Then Purdue gets up late, and then they foul on an and 1 3-pointer. And then Jaden Ivey shooting 2 free throws, makes the first, makes the second, but Travion Williams gets called for a lane violation. And then Texas gets it within 3, and then Jaden Ivey hit an absolute huge 3 with a minute left, extended to 6 points. And really the hero of the game for Purdue, besides Jaden kind of taking over in the second half because he didn't do anything the first half, Ethan Morton had career high 8 points and finally shut down Marcus Carr after he was just torching Purdue like he always did at Minnesota. He made him go left instead of going right. So because when he go right and go downhill, they couldn't stop him. Finally made him go left. And like I said, Texas, one of the worst 3-point shooting teams in the country, ended up shooting about 30 threes. Wow. So Purdue made them play the game they wanted to, and I thought Matt Painter coached a really good game, and just happy to get it done because I was nervous wreck the whole game, and I yelled. So I probably should apologize to my neighbors. So, yeah. But looking at the rest, I do think Purdue gets by St. Peter's Friday night. I know they're 12 and a half point favorites. I'm still very nervous, but I think Travion Williams and Zach Edey's size will just be too much for St. Peter's.
We've seen low seed get to a Sweet 16. They just get absolute trounced by a team that's much better. You get 3 or 4 days off and for whatever
kind of lose the momentum a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, we saw Oral Roberts last year losing the Sweet 16. I don't remember who they lost to. And then Florida Gulf Coast back in, I think it was 2013, are the only two 15 seeds to make the Sweet 16.
Yep.
But then the other matchup, you got two blue bloods. I mean, North Carolina, who's all of a sudden playing like everybody kind of expected North Carolina to play all year, and UCLA. Who do you like in that matchup?
I like UCLA. I think UCLA, after getting that scare against Akron, kind of played really well against St. Mary's after St. Mary's beat Indiana by, I think, 30 points.
Almost just beat the brakes off of them.
Beat the tar off them. Tar out of them. Give me UCLA in that one. I think it'll be a close one, though.
I think you're right. Just because UNC's best player is their big guy. That's easier to shut down than UCLA, who has three pretty good guards.
Yeah. And UCLA has former Rutgers big Miles Johnson, one of the better defensive bigs in the country.
That's a good point.
So yeah, I think they're pretty good.
So we both have UCLA and Purdue in the Elite Eight. What do you think happens on Sunday if they're to match up?
This will be the J-Man's bucket prediction of the week. Let's see here. I'm going to do you a solid. And I'm going to say UCLA gets there just to help you out a little bit. Knowing my string of not
I appreciate that, because I think if I remember correctly, back in 2019, you picked Purdue to beat Virginia in the Elite Eight. So.
Yep. So trying to help you out a little bit. Honestly, though, I think Purdue wins, but I'm picking UCLA.
It'd be an interesting historical rematch. It would be two teams who met in the NCAA final in '69. Rick Mountain and Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and then they also met to open up Mackey before that. So
that's cool.
First game of Mackey history. They've played since. I remember going to a UCLA Purdue game at Mackey when Steve Lavin was UCLA's coach and Jason Capono played for UCLA. Remember him? Shooter.
Great shooter.
Besides that, I don't recall them playing too often. So.
Yeah. J-Man's Book Your Prediction of the Week brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watchring for life, home, auto, business, renters, workers' comp, and farm insurance. Contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watchring@infb.com.
And I'm also taking the Boilers if they are to play UCLA or North Carolina in the Elite Eight, because even though I've always said the year Purdue breaks through is going to be the year nobody expects it, which almost happened a couple of years ago, even though they tied for the Big Ten title that year. But as I look how everything's unfolding, it's like, if not now, when?
Yeah, when. Yep.
Absolutely. And they got. I mean, Jaden Ivey last night just proved to me when the going gets tough, he wants the ball, and he kind of plays off emotion. It looks like. I mean,
I'm telling you, he has some Io DeSumo in him, faux show, especially late in games like that. It seems like he's hitting big shot after big shot.
Yep. Going over to the South, we have Arizona will be playing Houston. Should have been TCU in Houston. And Michigan against Villanova.
Yeah, Michigan being in it 5 straight Sweet 16s for them, by the way.
Yeah, most of the country.
Is just disgusting, especially with all that's happened with Juwan Howard. This Michigan team is not very good. Arguably, could have not even gotten in.
I'm still mad they were at 11 seed in Indianapolis.
Yeah, that's not fair. Why does it seems like the NCAA and Big Ten always does stuff to help Michigan out?
Love the brand. They love that brand for some reason.
It's gag worthy. Tennessee should have beaten them though. There was no excuse for Tennessee not.
Rick Barnes can't coach in March Madness.
I think Rick Barnes is a really good coach.
I do too.
He is terrible in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Yep. And Tennessee's never made a Final Four in program history.
Yeah, I had him in the Final Four as well, I believe. I had him beating Arizona, which I had Auburn winning and going to. So my bracket's already screwed. So
my bracket almost was last night with Arizona.
Yeah, I had Kentucky. So 3 of my Final Four teams get put out in the round of 32. So it looks like I'm not winning any money this year.
I have all 4 of mine. I have Gonzaga, UCLA, Arizona, and Kansas still alive. But it almost went up in flames last night. And it should have. That was a foul, in my opinion.
I didn't even see it. After Illinois lost yesterday, I didn't really watch any.
I wouldn't have either.
Yeah.
But my adrenaline was pumping, so I stayed up and watched the Arizona game, which it should have ended in regulation. That was a foul. TCU should have got free throws, but is what it is.
I bet TCU fans are not very happy today.
They were a beast on the glass. My goodness, they were physical. Wow.
Yeah, Jamie Dixon's a good head coach.
He's a good basketball coach.
Yeah. As far as Arizona, I mean, should have lost last night, but how many times do we see a team make a run to a national championship game where, even though they've had a game they probably should have lost in it?
Exactly. And that's I don't mean this to pain you, J-Man, but I thought Illinois got away with that against Chattanooga. I was like, there's their one. Now they're going to make their run. And
me too. Yep.
It didn't happen.
Yeah, Illinois came out extremely tight against Chattanooga, which I didn't think they were going to after what happened last year and all of that. I thought they were going to be pretty loose, and they just played garbage the entire game. That's a game you look, they should have won by 15 or 20. They held Chattanooga to, I think, 34% from the field. Chattanooga hit 22% from three. They even missed free throws. Illinois' offense was so terrible. Every single time Illinois cut to like one or two, they'd get the ball back. Like, all right, here we go. They'd throw it away, miss a shot. They were very should not have won that game. But at the same time,
led for 25 seconds.
Yeah, led for 25 seconds. The only 25 seconds that mattered.
Yeah.
I had zero expectations going into yesterday's game because I think Houston's quite a bit better. Illinois was exposed with their lack of athleticism and length. When you're playing a 6'1" Trent Frazier, a 6'1" Alfonso Plummer, and then a 6'2" Andre Curbelo at the same time against one of the best rebounding teams in the country, it's going to look like it did. I thought Kofi Coburn was fantastic yesterday. DeMonte Williams was terrible, and they should have put RJ Melendez in a lot more or a lot earlier. But I thought the two freshmen, Melendez and Goody, gave them fantastic minutes, and they're the reason why it ended up being a really good game up until about the 3.5 minute mark is when Houston started pulling away a little bit. I think it was a 2-point game at the 6-minute mark. And then the technical happened, which was a terrible call. Yep. It didn't change things, I don't think, because Illinois came down and made it. It
was ridiculous, though. There's been some calls in this tournament I haven't seen all year.
Yeah,
that was one of them.
And it was a legitimately like I think the hanging on the rim rule's dumb anyways, but this was like he's swinging so he doesn't land on his back.
Or smack his head against the backboard.
Yeah, or that. And right when the whistle blew, I knew exactly what I was going to be. I went off, of course, in my
as you should have
by myself. So I was upset. Wouldn't have changed things. Illinois needs to get some guards with size because they just got whooped on the boards because Plummer doesn't rebound, Frazier doesn't rebound. There's only so much Kofi can do. So I think, Houston. I mean, there's a reason why they're number 2 in the Ken Palm. I mean, they were number 3 in the net ranking. That's a top 10 team there that was a 5 seed. That's a really scary 5 seed. And I think they're going to give Arizona all they can handle.
I think Arizona beats them, but I agree. I think it's a close game. And then I think Villanova beats Michigan.
I'm hoping Villanova beats them by like 70 points or something like that. I don't think Michigan's any good. Tennessee found a way to lose that game. Eli Brooks played the best game of his career, hit some bullcrap shot over his head to kind of seal it. I think it's an Arizona-Villanova Elite Eight.
And I think Arizona moves on, but I think that'll be another good one.
Yeah.
I know we still got word association to go after this and Birdie Bogey, so I'm going to make this quick. In the Midwest, we have Kansas coming out against Providence, who's looked phenomenal the first 2 rounds after getting beat by 30 by Creighton. And then Iowa State and Miami. Who would have thought that one?
I believe I had Iowa State in the Sweet 16 because I had Colgate beating Wisconsin.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Which Colgate should have beat Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's Iowa State and Miami, right?
Yeah.
Iowa State plays great defense.
I think Miami will beat them.
But I think Miami will beat them because they can splash the trade ball. Give me Kansas up there, though, and I think Kansas ultimately gets to a Final Four.
I think Kansas has the easiest route among the 3, the 1 seeds remaining. I mean, America's darling, the hot team coming in tournament, Iowa, fell on their face in the first round.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
Yeah. One more note I wanted to make that I forgot earlier. Watch for Duke this weekend. People who are trying to bet on them. Coach K is 0-for-6 in the NCAA tournament in the Western time zone all time. So that's something to watch.
He's due, though.
He is due, and this is his last rodeo. So,
real quick here, Tan and J-Man Show is brought to you by The Damn Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, beer, pizza, tacos, all sorts of stuff. Tenderloins are fantastic. Go to the Dam Landing, located on Ewing Road in Rochester. Beer garden I saw was getting open, which I'm sure people were on it today with how nice it was. So
Oh yeah. It's a great place to go all year round, but especially when the temps are getting warm.
Yep.
Got some word association going on here. Pretty simple. 16 of them. All 16 remaining nicknames for college teams.
I like it.
Starting with the Razorbacks.
Oh man, Razorbacks. Is that an animal?
Yeah, it's like a wild hog.
Like a hog.
Suey.
Pig suey. Yeah, that was dumb. But yeah.
Gonzaga Bulldogs.
That seems like a very common college or high school nickname.
Yes, it does. And that's why I'm going to knock this one out with two of them. Villanova and Arizona Wildcats.
Rawr.
Michigan Wolverines.
I've never seen a Wolverine. I wish I could. It seems like it'd be cool.
No, me neither. Duke Blue Devils.
I just hate Coach K. That's all I can think about with the Devils. Blue Devils. Coach K is the Blue Devil.
That's fair. Houston Cougars.
Cougars. We have any Cougars in the Midwest?
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask.
I'm the wrong person to ask as well. So,
St. Peter's Peacocks.
The Peacocks, down in Bartonville, Illinois. I've been to a bar called Peacocks. It's a dive bar that has some trivia, good drinks. Go check it out if you're ever south of Peoria.
Purdue Boilermakers.
Have you ever had a Boilermaker? The drink? Isn't there a drink?
Yes, there is.
I've never had it either.
No,
I want to try it.
Providence Friars.
What the heck's a friar? Is it a nun?
It's like a nun looking priest style. It's the scariest looking mascot I've seen.
It is.
Yeah. That thing was horrifying looking in round one. Kansas Jayhawks.
Rock Chalk. Jayhawk. What is a jay? No, I don't know what a jayhawk is.
It's a bird. It's a bird.
I know it's a bird, but like, is it a hawk? Is it a mockingjay? Is mockingjay? Is that even
a blue jay?
Blue jay. That's what I meant. Mockingjay is a.
Oh boy.
Hunger Games.
Oh boy. North Carolina Tar Heels.
It's like a ram, isn't it? It's a Tar Heel.
Their logos. Yeah, they have a ram as their mascot, but like their alternate logos a heel, and then it's got the.
It must be like a
star there on the.
Like some genus of ram.
Yeah. UCLA Bruins.
I don't know what a Bruin is.
It's a bear is their mascot.
I got to think of the mascot more than the name.
I know.
A bear.
Iowa State Cyclones.
I know what a cyclone is. That's a tornado. I went through a stretch where I kind of still want to be a storm chaser.
Miami, Florida Hurricanes.
Kind of want to be a storm chaser. Go right into that eye and They
play each other. And then the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Red Raiders. That's like a Wild West.
Yeah, it's like a cowboy looking.
Like a bandit almost.
Yep. And the word association segment is brought to you by a sponsor that's been a sponsor of the podcast that is back on board, and that is Proforma Print to Promo Group. For all of your, if you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, they have over 50 years combined experience of promotional products and commercial print. They strive for a fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call today at 574-210-3815. We appreciate her and Proforma being back on board.
There are two head coaches that have beaten Mike Krzyzewski twice in the NCAA tournament. Tom Izzo is one of them. Who is the other?
He's not a coach anymore.
Correct.
I don't think this is right, but it's the only name. Is it Bo Ryan?
Incorrect. Jimmy Calhoun, UConn.
Didn't even think about him. Should have.
Yeah.
Should have. Yeah, that's legendary. Beat him in the national title in '99. Yep.
Here's the other trivia question just for fun. There are only one NCAA sports Power 5 program, one Power 5 program in NCAA that does not have an 8-win football season or a Sweet 16 appearance since 2009. Who is that?
In the Sweet 16?
Sweet 16 or an 8-win football season.
Ooh.
There's only one.
Ooh. 8-win football season. Who hadn't won an 8-win since 2009?
2009.
It was a team that made the tournament this year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rutgers?
The University of Illinois Fighting Illini. Only Power 5 team not to have an 8-win football season or Sweet 16 appearance since 2009.
Yep, that makes sense.
It's pathetic. Yeah, absolutely. Rutgers was a good I'm trying to think how they would have won 8 games since 2009.
Yeah, they must have snuck in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Darn.
Thanks for watching the Tan and J-Man Show live on the ISC Sports Network. Have a fantastic week, everybody. We'll be back at it next Monday with episode 280. See you later.